those slows to cross the borderline. Run like the wind as excitement shivers up and down my spine. So down in his barn, my uncle preserved for me an old machine.
Welcome, people from World War III. 2 P's in a podcast. I'm recording from my bunker, and I'm Matty, and this is JoJo. Say
Hello,
hi, JoJo.
hello world.
I was waiting for that.
Yes, I got it this time.
Yeah, nice. All right, so we were just talking about chi, and I guess I don't know, orgone. It's all the same word, but anyway. So there's this thing in Chinese. So I have all these books. It's to do with martial arts, and so what they'll do in qigong and like tai chi and stuff is that they'll increase their, I guess it's through your nerves, because the chi will travel through your nerves. So there's a whole science about like increasing your nerve capacity. So this gets back to that word I was just telling you about, jung. So the more jung you have, the more powerful your chi will flow.
Mm.
And so like in electricity, just to sort of kind of combine that, because I really think that I got into electricity because of this chi thing. Like I was led there. But so in electricity, there's amperage, and that's how much, potential power that you have.
Yeah.
And then as it flows down the line is the voltage. So you can consider that like sort of like water. So like a little stream of water would be like a small amount of amperage. But if that little stream of water was flowing down a really fast hill, like a really steep hill, it'd be going fast. So that would be like a higher voltage,
Oh.
right? But if it was like, say, a river, that would be a lot of amperage. But if it was like slowly meandering, like like a slow moving river, then that would be like low voltage. And conversely, you could change any of that. It could be a fast flowing river. It could be like a lot of voltage and a lot of amperage. And amperage is what kills you, by the way. It's not voltage. It's the amount of electricity that goes into you, and then the voltage is how fast it will go. So, but so the jung is, I think the chi is your potentiality or your voltage, and the jung is how fast you can make that voltage flow or your chi flow. And so these guys have like a whole science of creating more jung. So they're doing all these movements. I'm doing them right now. I'm doing little movements, and this is to all like keep you flexible, because when you're flexible and um like that, then the chi will flow, and your nerves are all in your muscles and stuff. Will have better, I guess, not just accessibility, but chi flow.
Yeah.
So some of these guys can like start fires with their hands and stuff. And there's a very famous case of this guy. This is like in the 70s on National Geographic, where they found this guy who was practicing that style, and he could just start, like, he could crush a piece of paper up and start it on fire, like in the streets. This is getting back to like the Force, like you're talking about Star Wars, the Force.
Mm-hmm.
He could easily move things, but he could do other stuff, like he could put like a toothpick through a table,
Wow.
like put it through a table. The other thing, but he was a healer, right? So he was a healer. So when he would heal, this is like getting back into Reiki, because like Reiki's Japanese, but it's the same absolute principle. And I can assure you that there's probably Reiki practitioners that are so powerful that they could do this as well. So he would lay his hands on people. And at first he was just showing them. So, they would hold his hand and nothing. But then he would turn his chi on, and it would be like they were getting electrocuted, because it's going through their body and then into the ground, just like electricity.
Right.
So it's going through your body into the ground. So once he turned his chi on, they would recoil, because like, whoa, like as you would if you were like holding on to like a, like you know, like one of those games where you hold on with the electrical thing and it shocks you. How long can you take it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what was happening. So then he showed him like how he's healing people. So the person's laying down and he would start healing on him. But his chi was so powerful that he had to have a second person hold their feet down, the people that were laying down. They'd have to ground themselves to the ground and hold their feet down because otherwise they would start flopping around. And they also needed a path back to ground. So that's how you would do it. Now, there's this other thing that I started delving into. It's called matrixing, and it was started by a doctor who was a chiropractor, but then he started getting into chi and this jung and stuff. And so he says that like you can basically cure anything with chi, and like whenever you have a problem, it's like lack of chi flow to that area. And I wanted to start a group like this where we just sat around and we broke off into twos and threes. And see, so what you do is you sit there and you hold energy, like you take your hands. Usually the energy is coming out of your hands, and that's just the way it works, I think. And so you can consciously do that, and anybody could do this. You can practice this. I mean, I can feel the energy coming out of my hands right now. It's that feeling like when you get your fingertips really really close, but they're not touching
Right.
and you can kind of feel it. You can also get the same sense if you go with your finger to like between your eyes
Mm-hmm.
and then like almost touch the skin right there. It'll start giving you like a weird feeling, and you have to like rub it off to get rid of it. You know that
Yeah.
feeling, right?
Yep.
Well, that's the chi. So you can like kind of ball the chi up in your hands and between your fingers, and then as your hands get closer, you can feel that energy. So what matrixing is really about is focusing the energy and like pouring that energy in between your arms and your heart, and then of course ground your legs. It's you're making a circuit, so it's circulating through there. So if you take just the average Joe, two people, me, you, whatever it is, say you have a problem in your neck, because most people have a problem in their neck
Mm-hmm.
like almost 100% of the time, like in their spine somewhere, because that's where the chi's trying to flow, right? And then you have some sort of impedance. So what you can do is you can do it like one on either side of the neck, like up by your ears or something, somewhere like like you're almost like holding their neck, but you're not.
Yeah.
Or you could if you wanted to. I mean, you don't have to touch. Or you go the other way. You go from the cranial sacral, so you go from like the bottom of your spine to the top. That one's weird because people are like, "Oh, you're next to my butt." I get it.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff's weird, but this is what we have to do. We gotta get over that kind of crap.
You've got a chakra down there, people.
They're everywhere. They're all like,
Yeah.
you guys chakras on the bottom of your feet and stuff. They're just like minor ones though. But yeah, I think there's something like 200 something, 300 chakras. I forget. Somebody will correct me. Anyway, but so you can just imagine running energy between your hands, say up and down, or the length of your spine, or side to side on your neck. Now, what the class I was going to do was see, we don't take enough. We'll do it for like, maybe even 5 minutes is a long time, right? Uh, 1 minute's a long time to sit there and hold it, and then also to take energy from somebody, and you're just sitting there, and you don't know what to think, and your mind's like wandering, and all this stuff's going on, and that's because like our ego is getting involved, and we're not tuning out, and we're being trying to be conscious, and and then all of a sudden all these weird thoughts come in, and this is where like you got to get rid of all that and just be only in the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the point I'm making with all this, and I'll shut up now, but is like if you hold it for long enough, anyone can do this. You'll start shaking, and what's going on there is the energy is and my hand is starting to like shake right now because of it. So the energy will start. It goes to one side, goes to the other side, and what it does is it's evening itself out. So you will start shaking. It's the same thing like when there's trauma, like an animal has trauma, they'll go and shake. They'll go find somewhere safe in a bush or a cave or something and start shaking. And it's a process that the body has to go through to realign itself. It's going one way, it's going the other way, it's going one way, and it's finding center ground. And so what this doctor learned in this matrixing system is if you keep doing that, like maybe you have to go half an hour, like an hour. I know that seems like a long time. You have to build up to this process. But what'll happen is the body will start waving and doing. And I've seen videos of it. And what'll happen is all of a sudden, whack, 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 your spine starts lining up again, and like it'll like literally make sounds and start popping back into place.
Mm-hmm.
All your nerves will become free. The chi is flowing. It's like a uh self-aligning system that's like built into our bodies.
It's kind of what Mr. Miyagi did to Daniel's son in Karate
Oh,
Kid.
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you something else about that. So there's like Qigong, Tai Chi. These are all different areas of like sort of martial arts and healing modalities. Then you got Reiki and Aikido and some forms of Jiu-Jitsu, although, and that's in Japan. But what I'm kind of pinpointing out are like these modalities are called internal modalities.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not like hard, they're like soft modalities, not hard modalities. And what that means is like karate is like a hard modality where you turn your body into like steel. You become very hard. But these softer modalities like Tai Chi, Qigong, Reiki, you've seen all these practitioners move, very soft movements, and you think, hey, is there any power in that? And actually, those guys will beat a karate dude. Although there's much people argue that to the ends of the earth, but at the end of the day, flowing is stronger than like being really tensed up, right? It's just like golf.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the ball a lot farther when you're flowing than when you tense up and try to just go after it. So it's tension robs you of strength. So, but I was also going to point out there's another modality. It's in Russia. It's called Sistema. So you have all these different modalities. You got so that Russian Sistema when it comes all the way down through Korea. Korea's got their own like soft modalities. Like that, and then there's sort of like Qigong in there, and then Tai Chi, and then Reiki over on the island of Japan and stuff like that. And they were all started hundreds of years ago, maybe longer. And this is all before the internet and even like mail post service. So none of these people were communicating with each other. So my point is, all these things developed like over hundreds of years, completely separate and free of each other, and yet every single one of them basically teach the same thing.
Wow.
And so again, that's just telling me that there's so much truth in that. There's a science in that. That's actual science. When things keep repeating like that, that's real science, right? A repeatable experiment or repeatable functions. When separate people can do it over and over again throughout time, they don't know each other. Then this is a science. So it's the science of the human body, right? And who created this human body? I mean, we're a robot. We're like this fantastical, spiritual, physical, metaphysical robot, and that houses our spirit soul,
Mm-hmm.
our drop of Jupiter or whatever. And so yeah. So if you have problems with stuff, you can just use energy, use your hands, and you can like you can heal stuff. Yeah, it takes a lot of concentration and you have to work on your body, like you have to work on your flexibility and stuff
Yeah.
too, uh, because that also will help your agility. Your agility is well is the ability to move chi flow through there. Like the actual act of raising your arm even is like an act of telekinesis, because yeah, the muscles are doing it, but what's telling the muscles to do it? You
Exactly.
know, but
Why?
Western science can't answer that, but or they'll try to answer it like in a really mechanical way. But the only component that they're missing is that it's just the soul is transferring energy to do its bidding, to do its will.
Right.
Yeah.
But the
And that's why Satanists are like, do it thou will,
mm-hmm.
because they're trying to hijack this. I mean, to a degree, that's right. You can will anything, but there's way more power when you like lock into the source energy, and then you're doing source energy's will through you, through your body. It's like, the difference there, sort of thing,
Right.
instead of being a selfish sort of desire.
kind of like Yoda said, there is no try, there is only do.
I know. That one drives me crazy because my sensei used to beat that into me all the time, and I'm just like, okay, fine.
But
He wouldn't even let us use the word try.
But it's so true, though. I mean, it's so true. And
Yeah.
that's why many of us don't know our own power because, and again, I think the cabal has done a lot of the mind control and, keeping that
Po
from us. But
poisoning does it too, and
many of us get to surface level of our belief systems and our potential. Like, there's that level of where you see it and you know it can be done, but you don't do it. And that's exactly what Yoda's saying. You try, you don't get anywhere. It's not
well, try. Yeah, well, my sensei would say that try invokes the ability to fail.
exactly.
It allows you to fail.
You are giving that energy of failing when you're trying. You just do,
Yeah,
and then it will.
yeah, that's right.
Yes.
You can just do it. And then the other thing with just doing it is it just becomes done.
Right.
And there's less energy used to make something happen. And again, that kind of gets back to like when you tense up to try to do something, it's not as powerful as if you let it flow to do something.
Which is why I think they've put fear into the world so much. I think fear is like one
Sure.
of the
Is the tension. That's the tension, yeah.
that severs, yes, that severs our
Yeah.
capabilities because when we live in fear, what are we doing? We're only trying now because we might not be able to succeed. If you take fear out, you know God's within you and you know that when you do it, you're going to do it. You're
It's
not
gonna happen because God wants it to, because source is wanting it to happen. And
ex
and a lot of times it'll happen completely different than what you think. Again, that's
sure.
trying to think. So if you just let it up to the universe, and then it'll just show up, and you're like, oh, like oh, I need money, you know. So instead of thinking that I need money, you don't want that. You don't want to say want or need because then you're telling the universe because the universe doesn't deal in negatives. It just only deals in positives. So if you say I want money, it's gonna go okay. You want money,
You
right?
yes,
So this is gonna make you poorer.
right.
But if you matrix in your mind, like I don't know, I do this one all the time. This is dumb, but I just imagine myself surrounded by stacks of cash. And there's probably even a better way of doing that, but that seems to help. And then wealth will start coming in from like bizarre, strange sources. Maybe I pick up a job, or I win a bet over here, or this and that. Just golf bet. I'm not a gambler. I gamble on the golf course a little bit. That's about it. But
Yeah,
uh,
whatever energy you're projecting out is what you are manifesting. So,
yeah.
yeah,
And life is so much better too when you go through life like in a really neutral state, like a neutral sort of happy state. Like
yes.
And a lot of people get pissed at that. I'm guilty of it too. Like Golden Barrel just be like, oh, that person died. Well, I guess they needed to move on, and it's just like, well, that's a bit, that's a bit of what's the word I'm looking for, callous, but it's not. I mean, everything's working exactly the way it's supposed to. And if you think of it like that, if you think in those terms, then things change.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed if you drive in traffic, we all get upset. Oh my God, oh, I can't get to where I'm trying to go, and these people are driving ridiculous, and this is, it's congested, and this and that. But if you just matrix that you're already there, that maybe you're in a pocket of like what with a lot of space around you, you'll just find yourself there. The other thing I'll do is I'll put on like classical music, and all of a sudden because the way classical music is set up, it's really mathematical. I think it was from the Millennial Reign, to be honest. A lot of this classical music, like Bach, Vivaldi, and Schubert and stuff like that. I think it's remnants of the Millennial Reign music, the music of the spheres. Like music of
Oh,
of spirit.
yeah, 100%. Yep.
Yeah, and so when you start listening to that, then all of a sudden around you, like everything starts like flowing. Like, oh, this is. You
I think
start getting green lights, and
and
I don't know.
everything in the old world was about frequency and that music. I guarantee that music carried a frequency that either
Oh,
healed
absolutely.
people or, kept
Yeah.
their
Yeah, and it was about like organization
yeah,
too, kind of like
yeah.
um and practicality, and then maybe even multi-level functioning, multifunctioning,
Which is
statues look like statues, but they also like, told a story, and they also um maybe housed energy, or I don't know. I'm just let your mind wander. I mean,
well,
that's what Richard Saver says, and a lot of the old stuff equipment was totally multifunctional, and it also was beautiful.
even like the bells on all the church.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
firmly believe those bells, the vibration, yeah, it was a
Okay.
feeling.
Didn't we talk about that last time? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shocked when I actually look as a builder. I'm shocked when I actually look around at the pictures of the old bells, even including the Liberty Bell. There's one in France where that big chunk is taken out of it, and they laid the chunk next to it.
Yeah.
It looks like a piece of like a triangle came out of it,
Mhm.
cracked. And I'm like thinking a couple things. Like, is one is what could possibly damage this thing? So clearly, I think it was intentionally damaged. Two, how in the F would you create it? Like, some of those bells were, gosh, almost 2 stories tall,
Mhm.
and, about a foot thick. I can't even imagine what the metallurgy process was to make. I don't see any seams on it. How on earth did you fabricate that with no seams,
Right.
and with like cool designs in it? There's like little designs on like angels and things and people, and I can't think of everything that's on there, but I mean,
And how did
dude,
you figure out how to
what the hell?
mold it in such a way to get that just concise ring, you
So
know?
how do you get a frequency out of that? Like,
Yeah.
I can't. I could pour a bell all day long, and it would be super complicated. But that doesn't mean I'm going to get the exact frequency that I want out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be totally trial and error for me, you know.
Oh,
Which reminds me, I have some what are they called? Tuning forks.
yeah.
And Jack found them the other day. They're pretty cool. I forgot I had them. I have like all these different frequencies, like angel frequencies and stuff.
Oh, that's
And you're supposed to go bing, and then you run it all through your energy,
yeah.
your outside your body. Kind of cool, actually. He was doing it. I thought it was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that was wild.
Well,
That wasn't
I mean
not exactly what I was.
that whole conversation about the new world and all of that, we can just continue on. One of probably the most fascinating. I say fascinating. That's terrible, horrible rabbit holes I've ever gone down is the Cabbage Patch Kids rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. What do you make of it?
I I mean, we always wondered how we got here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, Guy thinks that we're all clones.
I've heard him say that in his videos, and actually the whole Cabbage Patch theme rabbit hole is where a lot of his videos went, which is why I jumped.
Yeah, everything he does is kind of based around that.
But I mean,
That was sort of his jumping off point.
it totally makes sense that that's what they did, though. I mean, you removed children from their families and then you redistribute them into these empty cities that you've wiped out,
Hmm.
and and and, and here we are, and then we wonder how we got here. That's exactly how we got here.
It's even more sinister than that. That like all of a sudden there was no. Notice how we have no mental asylums, right, or insane asylums right now, right? So they got rid of those, right?
Yep.
But back at this certain time period, and just gonna guess because I don't know, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm just gonna guess 1820 seems to be when this last super big reset happened. And so it's like after that, so it's like 1850, all of a sudden everything's an insane asylum. Like they're huge, and they're Tartarian buildings, all made out of brick, and they go underground. And people to this day still explore them, and there's still like crazy, weird crypto shit stuff going on inside these ex-insane asylums. And then there's like hundreds of people in these insane asylums, and that would be a pretty convenient way of like resetting the world, and then taking all the people that remembered the reset and putting them in insane asylums, basically concentration camps.
Exactly. And then taking their children who
Yeah,
didn't know
and then distributing them through the rest of the world.
and not only that, but distributing them into unoccupied Tartarian style buildings. Like, where'd those come from?
Right, and then they also went to Illuminati families, the 13 like bloodline
Yeah,
families.
exactly.
Yeah, who raped and tortured them, and then
One of the big movies, I always go
and
back
then
to movies, but Little Orphan Annie. How
yeah, no, that you're right, totally. That's a bit of it right there. Why were there so many
orphan
orphans?
Yes, exactly.
Right, and then you realize that the Civil War might not even have happened.
It's crazy. I know.
The Civil War could have just been like they divide everybody up for whatever reason. It's just like today. They create a script, a narrative,
Yeah.
and then, oh, you're going to be on this side, you're going to be on that side. People will divide themselves because they're like, I don't like this, and I have views against that. So they will divide themselves. And so, or again, there's a group of people, which I suspect this could have happened. There is a group of people like that are like, no, no, we're going to band together and stand up against this. We
Yeah.
don't like this, right? You're doing the wrong thing. And then, oh, Civil War, boom, and then and then that was maybe the South, and they wiped them all out. But at the same time, they're running both sides of the program, and they're using like high-tech weaponry to just again destroy all the old world stuff as much as they can. Because if you look at like the Civil War stuff, they were like, oh, we're firing cannons, but if you look at the destruction, like, no, that doesn't line up with cannon fire.
Mm-hmm.
A cannon will like blow a hole, just like a big gun. It'll just blow. It's not freaking laying waste entire. It looks like it was Hiroshima, or it was like firebombed. And
Yeah.
and then that actually gets back into the airships, because I think that the modus operandi in in Atlantis, but definitely in the millennial reign, if it indeed existed, was these airships, because they had free energy, so they could go as far as they wanted for as long as they wanted. They would couple up to the towers, and you remember the old world, all the old world buildings are towers, 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 towers. Even down in Tasmania, there's towers, towers, towers everywhere. Towers, all brick, all weird spires, super tall. You got the Empire State Building, which I still think is like a remnant of old Atlantis. You've got domes and towers. You've got towers, domes, lighthouses, all these things that are almost impossible to build. And they've got like kind of embarking and disembarking platforms on them, with free energy spires that could easily have been used to repower up, however that works, these airships. They could have mapped all the lands out. They could have gone to the North Pole. You could have done anything, right?
Right.
Then some sort of reset happens. The bad guys get a hold of this technology. They start pulling up all the energy, the dew weapons or the ray weapons, like Richard Shaver says, and start mounting them on the airships that they've stolen. And then now you've just got a flying death machine. Death rays will freaking absolutely destroy everything. And now what do we have today? We have high flying, unseeable Black Project airplanes with dew weaponry on the front of them. And even like the dispersal trucks that they have for like riots and stuff, that's all ray weaponry, like sonic weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
And in Richard Shaver's terms, even if it's audio, maser, laser, light, focus light, none of that matters. It's all directed energy. So it's all the same thing. So he just called it ray weaponry, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
Oof. That was wild.
I love it.
I didn't know I had to get that off my chest right there.
Yep.
Well, we've got a lot of current events to talk about. Maybe we should. Can we do another one or?
Well, we are at 30, so maybe we should stop this one. Start our second.
We're at 30. Yeah, let's do a current event one.
All right. All right. All right.
Okay. Go for it. All right, bye everybody. Come back and check us out on part 2 as usual. We do. What do we do? 2 or 3 parts every week?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. We just do that for the sake of being able to download it. It's a little easier for JoJo.
Yeah.
And anyway, cue outro music, and we'll see you on part 2, ladies and gents.
See you on the flip side.